freedom for all.
Radio for all.
You are now live with the Humble Prince on Sahara FM Radio. Yeah. And we're back live with the Humble Prince on Sahara FM Radio. That was a fantastic interview we just had with recording artist Pluto. Please check him out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that. And that was his video Levels. That's available on YouTube. And Pluto, you got some shout outs, man. I was sorry, I forgot to mention that while you were here, that some people were giving you props for using African girls in the video, beautiful African women in the video, and promoting African beauty. So let's give him a round of applause for that, Nick. I thought that was big for Pluto to do that. Thank you very much, Pluto. But right now, we're joined by social justice activist, Mr. Bisi Alimi. Bisi Alimi. Bisi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us on Live with the Humble Prince, man. Thank you so much. So I really, really appreciate it. I wish you could have been in the studio, but, you know, Skype is good, too. So thank you very much. How's everything?
Everything is great. I am here at the Rockefeller Brothers estate. Beautiful, stunning, and overlooking the lake is amazing. New York is beautiful.
Thank you. Greatest city in the world, man. Is this your first time in New York?
No, not first time. No, no.
Okay.
It's not the greatest city in the world. The greatest city in the world is London.
Yeah, right. Where everything's expensive? Come on, man. Anyway,
yeah, that's why it's great.
Yeah, so Bisi, once again, thank you so much for joining us. So, you know what? I'll give you the floor. For people who don't know you, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, my name is Bisi Alimi. I am from Nigeria,
Yes.
but I live in London.
Okay.
And I was the first person to come out publicly on national television in Nigeria. I did that in 2004. And I moved out of Nigeria in 2007, where I'm living out in the UK. And I travel around the world, highlighting the plight of the people on the fringe of the society in Nigeria, from girls to disabled people to disempowered men and women as well.
Okay. Okay, so you just, I won't say you jumped the gun, but I was going to talk about that. So, you know, coming out as gay on national TV, what really made you do that? What was your decision? What drove that decision to do that?
Well, I think it was very much something I needed to do. And
Okay.
The decision, what drove me to do that was the fact that I wanted to be in control of what was going to happen to me.
Okay.
So I went to University of Lagos. I studied theater arts. And just a year to my leaving university, I got an acting deal with Galaxy Television. I'm not sure if they're still existing now. And I was acting on TV, and I was still in the university when my student union magazine got wind of my sexuality, and they were going to out me. And it was a very difficult time for me, trying to cover the story, trying to beg them to kill the story, but they were not going to kill the story. So I did what every fast person would do, a typical Nigerian would do. I outshined them, and I went on Fumi Yoda's show, and I came out. So I took the story away from them. I told my story the way I wanted it to be told.
And let me commend you for that, because what you did, I think, was brave, especially when we know the climate in Nigeria for people who are gay or lesbian. I thought what you did was really, really brave. And like I said, you took control of the situation, which is something that was, you know, I definitely commend you for. But I know when you did that, you got a lot of backlash. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh my God! It was as if I've committed the most outrageous crime in the world. I went through hell, but nothing that I went through could be compared to what happened to me that evening on the 9th of April in 2007, when my house was broken into, and I was made to go through over 2 hours of torture. I just got back from the UK, and these guys broke into my home, tied me up, and beat me continuously, you know, beating me, you know, abusing me with words and calling me all sort of filthy words. I just do not want to remember. I was almost killed. But, you know, I survived it. And that was when I left the country. But the pain of it, you know, stayed with me even up until now, considering the fact that this happened in 2007. There are still moments in my life that I think about what happened to me. And I try to question myself, that where did I go wrong? Who did I kill? Whose money did I steal? Whose wife or whose child? You know, I was just trying to ask myself questions, and I couldn't find an answer, because the only thing that I've done is the fact that in a society like Nigeria, I chose to live a real through life and not lie to anybody about my reality, and people don't like that.
Right. You know, so here's another thing I wanted to say. You know, let's not pretend like they're not gays in Nigeria. There are a lot of people that live that lifestyle. I'm correct, because when I was in Nigeria in November, I drove the street and I could actually see, I saw male prostitutes on the street. So, no, I'm serious. So, what do you think about what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate that, like so many other things that happens in our society, which we would rather not want to talk about,
right.
We pretend that these things are not there, when we know that, you know, they're actually staring us right in the face, and we want to deny their existence, thinking that the more we deny them, the more they disappear. And you're right, male prostitution in Nigeria is not new. It's been there for a long time. And I remember when I was in Nigeria doing my HIV work, I had to work with so many men who are male prostitutes, and so many trans people as well. And you know, it is interesting that people like me, gay men like me, and so many other of my friends who are lesbian, we're fighting and we're the one known. But there's so many transgender people in Nigeria that the only way to make money is to sell their body. And these things are there, but we live in a world of denial. We don't want to accept it. So when I hear Nigerians saying that there are no gay people in Nigeria, I just have a laugh at them, because they're either ignorant, like many people are, or deliberately do not want to accept the reality that they live in.
Yeah, right. Let's backtrack a little bit. So at what age and when did you find that, you know what, I'm not interested in women, you know, this is what I like? Or at what age did you really, you know, find that out? Like, that you were gay?
I was never interested in women growing up, really. You know, I'm the second of 2 boys and with 3 sisters. So I live in a predominantly female environment. I feel very comfortable actually hanging out with my sisters. And this doesn't have anything to do with me being gay, because I have many friends who are gay coming from a predominantly male siblings, and I have people who are gay because I've been the only child of their parents. So it doesn't mean that the environment I find myself. But I think I affirmed my sexuality when I was about, I think it was in primary 6, so I was about 10 years old, and we were having our prize giving day, which was our last day in primary school, going on holiday. Then when we resumed, we'd go into secondary school, and that was the first time I kissed a guy. I kissed my classmate.
Wow.
And I was young. I had no idea what was going on, but it happened, and that memory stuck with me. But that was one of the most beautiful things that ever happened to me as a very innocent 10-year-old boy in primary school. I didn't explore that. Along the way in my life, I had relationship with girls. I had this relationship not because I wanted to, because there was so many pressure on me, and I wanted to hide. You know, I wanted to tell myself that I can deal with these feelings I have for men by being in a relationship with a woman, and being with a woman that will cure it. And it never did.
Right. You know, another thing is I wanted to ask you, why do you think there's such a taboo against homosexuality in Nigeria? Or in African countries in general? I mean, it was like that at some point here in the United States as well, but I believe our thinking has evolved from that. So why do you think that's still the case in Nigeria? I mean, they're saying in Nigeria right now, they have draconian laws, in my opinion, that, you know, if you exhibit homosexual tendencies, they'll throw you in jail for 14 years. I think that's a huge huge grievance against human rights. What do you think about that, and why do you think that is?
Yeah, I've spoken about this
Right.
at many occasions, and I've given quite an explanation for this. And one of the explanations that I have, and I'll try to be brief and give three. One of them is the fact that homosexuality is a Western connotation. You and I will agree that there's so many things we do in our culture that we don't have name for. And because we don't, these things are there. They are part of us. They are part of our culture, but we don't give names to them because we don't care.
Right.
We are a very liberated people. It angers me when in the discourse around sexuality, Africans are portrayed as tribal, as primitive. That's not true. We have these things around us. It is the name that is giving us problem, because when you name something, you create an image. The image we have of homosexuality is something that the African meaning doesn't come into it. So we cannot, when we talk about that word, we can't accept it. So we have a lot of problems with accepting that name. So the use of the word homosexual creates a lot of conflict. Then the other thing is, with colonization comes the erasure of our culture and what we believe in and our value systems, which is what the South Africans we call Ubuntu, and the neighborliness. And for those so many people living in Nigeria, that if you don't have money, you cannot be homeless in Nigeria. If you don't have money, you cannot be hungry. There's a neighbor that is going to be there to take care of you. That's the essence of our community, and that's been taken away from us because of the fact that we were taught Western education, we were taught Western values. Homosexuality criminalization, or let me put it, the criminalization of homosexuality is something that the West taught us. It's something that came with the West. It was never an African thing. And with that comes religion. We are now more religious than the people that gave us this religion. And we allow this religion to be the centerpiece of our lives. So we judge everybody based on what religion is saying. And the problem is not just homosexuality. A woman wearing a miniskirt is prone to attack because the Bible says you cannot wear a miniskirt. We've replaced common sense with this fairy tale of the God and a son and a woman and all these things that doesn't really relate to our reality. We've allowed them to control us, which is unfortunate, and it is changing the way we relate with ourselves.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say that religion definitely plays a role because the Bible, and we know how how Muslim feels towards homosexuals. But you know what? To be honest with you, I'm of the school of thought that everybody's free to live their lives the way they want to live it. Like I said, as a Christian, the homosexual or gay lifestyle doesn't really subscribe to my beliefs, but I've always said, however anybody wants to live their lifestyle, that's the prerogative. So I don't, I'm definitely in support of that. But, I have something funny that I want to say that. What do you think about, because I hear Nigerians say that, being gay or homosexual is like, being possessed by a demon and you can pray it away. What do you think about that? Can we pray for you to stop being gay today?
Well, we can try. Many times I've heard that. Right. I have challenged people, and I willingly submit myself to them. And let me share this with you, Olu. When I was 17, when I was 17, I went through exorcism in Nigeria.
Wow.
Exorcism is a process of me wanting to cure myself. I really wanted to cure myself as a teenage boy, struggling with my sexuality. I was in excess. I was just in my senior secondary school year, SS2, just a year before I leave secondary school. And I spent 7 days in the church, fasting and praying and really, really begging God to take this thing away from me. And 2 weeks after all these things, the feeling came back. It was so strong. It was so powerful. And by then, I've become born again. I was preaching on buses. I was preaching everywhere I go.
Right.
And that was the first time in my life I attempted suicide.
Wow.
I wanted to kill myself because I felt something is really, really wrong with me. I was guilty and ashamed of who I was then. And I've gone through this 3 times before I got to 29. I came out on Fumi Yodash at the age of 29. And that was the first time in my life I accepted myself. And that was the first time in my life I felt what it is like to be happy. I felt what it is like to be liberated. I have tried. I've been there. I've done that. You cannot change it. If there is a God, I don't believe in a God, but if there's a God, there's a place in the Bible that God says, ye are fearfully and wonderfully made. And if it is an evil spirit that is possessing everybody, the statistics says between 5 to 10% of every population is either gay, lesbian, or bisexual. Now, we have 7 billion people in the world.
That's a lot.
Do you know how? Exactly. So you can imagine that bunch of people being possessed by the devil.
Yeah, it's what it is, and like I said, I believe everybody's entitled to live their lives the way they do. I honestly don't, believe in those laws, but that's a Nigerian thing, Nigerian legislation, and I just think those laws are draconian. But we've spoken about that enough. Let's. I know you have a foundation called the Bisi Alimi Foundation. Tell us a little bit about it, and I know you're fighting to create awareness for HIV. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Bisi Alimi Foundation was started by a group of friends who, on my 40th birthday this year, came together and said they wanted to build a legacy project in Nigeria with the sole aim of, addressing some of the issues, but also coming from a more profound position. So the position of training, the position of engagement. We train media, we train the police, we train the politicians, we train religious institutions who are interested in our training, and we also conduct opinion polling. We engage in active citizen participation, and the whole idea is to provide an alternative narrative to the narrative that religion is providing, which is informing everything that we do and think about in Nigeria. The other part of it is the fact that we want to provide scholarship for LGBT people in Nigeria. I went through university through the support of friends, and because of the fact that by the time I came out, my family stopped funding my university education. I was left on my own, and friends came out to support me. And every year, I get emails from young people across Nigeria who are about to either lose their education or lose funding for their education or be kicked out of their homes, and there's no support network. So we're planning to create scholarship, but also to create a process where people can be supported through the challenges that they face in life. And my story is, if you have money, you command respect. So it's
Definitely.
also about building the wealth ability of these people to be able to create wealth in a way that they will be respected in the community.
Definitely. Like I said, man, it was definitely a pleasure talking to you, and we wish you all the support. But real quick, let's, you know what's going on in the news with Bruce Jenner converting into a woman right now. So he's literally broken the internet. What are your thoughts about that and the whole transgender community?
Well, I think the first thing is that Kathleen Jenner is not E. It's a she, and I think we have to pick. Yeah, we have to pick our pronouns very well.
Definitely.
I would prefer that people don't refer to Bruce anymore. Bruce doesn't exist anymore. As far as this person is concerned, Bruce is dead, and this is Kathleen. And I wish that we can actually address that. But also, on a more important note, is the fact that there are people that have challenges, or there are people that are very aware of the fact that the body that they have is not the body that they belong to, and they want to transition. And I think we should be able to support them. And unfortunately, there are so many Kathleen Jenner in Nigeria. There's a young lady that I'm supporting at the moment who is taking, medication and is transitioning from being a man to being a woman. But the difficult thing is doing that in a society like Nigeria is very difficult. Yes, it's okay. Jenna can do that in the US, and she can be on the front page of Vanity Fair, and she can be celebrated. But there are thousands and millions of other trans people in the world that are facing challenges. And for example, over 25 black trans people have been killed in the United States of America this year alone.
Wow.
So there are still a lot of issues, but why I celebrate Kathleen Jenner, I also stand in solidarity with trans people around the world who are facing difficulties.
Yeah, you know, you just answered my next question, because I was going to ask you what would you think, your thoughts if somebody if this was to happen like in Nigeria. I definitely know it won't be accepted. And again, you know, it's just what it is, man. I just guess it's the society we live in. Yeah. So sorry, Bisi, I know we have to round up, but I'm going to ask you just a few questions. So with regards to homosexuality and being the lesbians and gays in Nigeria, what is your dream for Nigeria? Like, what would you like to see with regards to that in Nigeria?
Yeah, I want to see a Nigeria where even if you don't understand or accept who I am, you respect the fact that
Exactly.
I am what I am, and
Exactly.
that is seriously respected. And I think that for me is very important.
Right.
And also, I want to see a Nigeria where every citizen is given the opportunity to be part of the country, whether you're gay or you're straight, whether you're a man or you're a woman, whether you're trans, whoever you are, you're allowed to bring something to the table.
Right.
A Nigeria where the governance will go back to young people, and the old people will mentor them and take a leaf from governance. Because I, as a Nigerian, I am tired of having old people recycle themselves over and over again. The young people can do, in a country of over 60% of young people, give them the opportunity to contribute.
Right. But what do you think to people that say that, you know, if this homosexuality lifestyle is extended in Nigeria, it's like actually a breakdown of the society?
It's okay. Look at the countries where it is allowed. What breakdown do we have?
Exactly.
You know, what breakdown do we have?
Right.
Ireland just few weeks ago,
Right.
voted to legalize gay marriage.
Yeah, that
and
was
straight people been going to court to get divorced. If you think that me being gay will affect your sexuality, that says a lot about your sexuality.
Exactly.
It doesn't have anything to say about me. If you feel uncomfortable with me expressing my sexuality, it says that you are insecure with your own sexuality. I have friends, my best friend in university, we sleep on the same bed together. He knows about my sexuality. He welcomed me. It never affected his heterosexuality. We're still friends to today. The people that are afraid have got something and they need to come out and say what they've got that they need to deal with. I am not the problem. It's just the same thing with racists. I am not, being black, I'm not the problem. The problem is the white person that cannot tolerate a black person around them. And I don't give them attention. I don't give them attention at all.
Yeah, I have no problem, man. The more of you guys, the more women for us. I'm just joking. But,
Wow.
Yeah, but you know, like I
It is what
said,
it is.
nah, like I said, man, whatever anybody wants to do with their private part, that's their business, as long as it doesn't affect me. So we have, like I said, I've said this 20 times already that we have to round up, but I just want to get to some quick questions. You've done some interviews with CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, CCTV, The Washington Post, NPR, and now you're on Live with the Humble Prince. I really, really appreciate that. You also have a writing called The Development Cost of Homophobia. Yes, so we'd like people to check that out. Also, I want people to find out about your TED Talk. There should never be another Ibrahim. Yes, please. In 1 minute or less, tell us about that real quick.
Yeah, Ibrahim was my very best friend. We were friends in Unilag together. Ibrahim died of AIDS, and he propelled me to start my AIDS activism in Nigeria. And it's really, it's been one of my biggest inspiration. And also, just before I go, I just want to tell people that if you want to know more about my talk, if you want to know more about, my views on things, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is just youtube.com/Bisi Alimi, and you can get to know some of the things that I strongly believe in as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Before we go, I always like to ask all my guests this, please. If there's I want you to give us an exclusive. Tell us something nobody knows about you.
There's a show coming up on YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it's exclusive, it's powerful, and it's big, and I'm launching it in September.
What is it called, man? What is it called?
It's called Bisi Alimi in Conversation. So I'm having this wonderful conversation with inspirational people across the world, and they're coming on my sofa, they're coming to discuss with me, they're coming to share their life stories with me, and I'm going to share this life story with them.
Hey, so when is my invitation,
so watch
man?
out.
When is my invitation? I'm inspirational.
You'll get yours very soon. I'll send you one as soon as possible.
Bisi, thank you so much for joining us on Live with the Humble Prince. It's been a pleasure. Really, thank you so much. And please, let's be in touch. Whatever you're working on, please just feel free to come back. And I really, really appreciate you. And I want to say a big thank you to Moji Percy for making this interview happen.
Thank you so very much for having me, and have a lovely evening.
You too, man. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your stay. So there you have it, Bisi Alimi, social justice activist. Follow him on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's just bisi.alimi. Follow him, and like I said, it's inspirational. And I just want to say, my phone has been going off. People saying, all sorts of things and everything. And I'm just going to say this, man. I have nothing against anybody, however they want to live their lifestyle, as long as it doesn't affect me. So whatever you want to do with your private part, that's your business. Live with the Humble Prince. We'll be right back.
Because many times people ask, what can I do? It's very simple. All you can do is to join me. Join your voices with mine in standing up against the inequalities that is happening all over the world. Join me in telling your government to stop the cutting of HIV funding globally. Join me in challenging religious organizations that they should preach equity, love, and respect, irrespective of race, gender, sexuality, or sexual orientation. Join me in telling international organizations like the UN, like the World Bank, like the WHO, that human rights matters and human lives matters. Join me in